Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday morning early. I couldn't sleep, so I thought I'd get up and do the broadcast a little early today. I've entitled this video, Reality of the Times We're Living In. The reality of the times we're living in. You know, it never ceases to amaze me how that there are people out there that are actually promoting that Christ has already come back. If he's already come back, why are we still living down here on the face of this earth is my question. You know, if he came back in 70 AD, why were 50 million people killed after that? You know, I've talked about the 20th chapter of Matthew many times, but you know, if you read through the 24th chapter of Matthew, okay, where it says there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down, that's talking about 70 AD. And he also says that you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. He also says that nation shall rise against nation, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes. And then he says a very important thing in verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. 70 AD was just the beginning of sorrows, folks. But listen to verse 9 and 10. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated. That's what happened during the Great Inquisition. Many were afflicted and killed, and hated all nations. And verse 10 is what's happening right now. Verse 10 is what's happening right now. Then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. That's what's happening as we speak. That's the reality of the times we're living in right now. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. That's the times we're living in right now. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. That's the times we're living in right now. But this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. Now I know that the preterists say that the gospel was preached to all nations before 70 AD. But there were a lot of people born. There's been a lot of people born on the face of the earth since 70 AD that the gospel's been preached to. Okay? Now they're still today talking about rememorializing animal sacrifices and setting up another temple and all of that. And I have a strong suspicion that that's the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet. Okay? Now a lot of people disagree with me on that, but you know, that's just sort of my thoughts on that. Then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. Was that in 70 AD? I don't think so. And except those days should be shortened. Has the days been shortened since 70 AD? Well, there's some people say, well, yes. Well, he says for the elect's sake those days should be shortened. There shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible they shall deceive the very elect. Well, Did all the tribes of the earth mourn in 70 AD? I don't think so. Even though they said there was a sign of the Son of Man appearing in heaven in 70 AD, I don't think that all the tribes of the earth mourned in 70 AD. Okay. And were all of the elect gathered from the four winds from one end of the earth to the other in 70 AD? I think not. Okay. Verse 31. He shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds from one end of heaven to the other. Were they gathered in 70 AD in heaven from one end of heaven to the other? They say that the generation of 70 AD shall not pass away till all these things be fulfilled. Well, did that generation pass away? Were all things fulfilled? No, they weren't. They weren't. And he says that no man knoweth, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only, that day and hour. And they're saying that they know the day and hour. Well, you know, I believe that we're living in the last days. I think it's been the last days since Christ ascended back to heaven. But I do not believe that 70 AD is represented in the whole 24th chapter of Matthew. I think many events have happened after 70 AD, and I think Christ foretold those many events in 70 AD. I'm talking about the reality of the times that we're living in now, not in 70 AD. You know. And so he says, when you see all these things begin to happen, come to pass, look up, for your redemption doth nigh. What things are he talking about? What things are we talking about? He's talking about all the things I just have gone over. And we're seeing these things right before our eyes. We should be looking up, for our redemption is drawing near, folks. We should be looking up. Sometimes we get discouraged, you know. I know I do. All of the scams going on, all of the lies perpetrated on the internet. You know, Luke 21:28, when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your head, for your redemption draweth nigh. If it all happened in 70 AD, what do we have to look forward to? Well, nation is rising against nation. We see it. We see it, don't we see it right now before our eyes? Look at all the nations rising against nation. Look at Russia rising against the United States. Look at China rising against the United States. Look at NATO coming against Russia and China. Verse 17 of that chapter that I just read, look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. He says that when you shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Then said he, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. You shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. I had a guy ask me one time, do you believe that Jerusalem's going to be compassed by armies? Don't you think that was in the 70 AD? Well, I believe that that's a concurrent prophecy. I believe it's going to be compassed by armies again. Verse 25, there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and waves roaring. Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of the earth shall be shaken. Well, I believe Christ is coming back. And I believe that he's coming back soon. But I think that we're going to see great tribulation before he comes back. And, you know, we have been given the promise that we should look up, for our redemption draws nigh. And I believe that we should be looking up right now. When these things begin to come past, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. That's the thought that I have today. May the good Lord be with you all, is my prayer. God bless.